Own everything. It's all your fault. It's all your responsibility. Absolute maximum accountability, period, right? Blame no one, no excuses. Take extreme responsibility for everything, because that is how you gain control and freedom.
Your outcomes in life are often a lagging measure of your habits. We think the thing that needs to change is the bank account or the test score or the number on the scale, but actually the thing that needs to change are the habits that precede those outcomes.
So I was 17, I was working at a fast food restaurant making sandwiches. Now, the internet didn't really exist as such, but looking back on it, it was part of my journey. And I regret nothing because I ended up where I am. So would I even go back and tell myself anything, is the question. If I had to, it would be to not burn so much of my time. Let's talk to the 17-year-olds who are listening. You know, do you finish your job, come home, play video games, etc.? That's what I used to do when I was 17 a little bit. What I didn't do is come home and think, okay, fuck. Let's work on something new. Let's try and build something. Let's start a YouTube channel. Let's start creating content instead of consuming content. I'd tell myself to be a little bit more proactive with my free time and not fuck around so much.
If you want control over every outcome in your life, for the most part, I understand that you could be walking down the street and then boom, a car jumps the curb and hits you. I get that. Freaky, weird shit happens. But by and large, you need to own everything. It's all your fault. The wins are your fault. The losses in your life are your fault. Everything can be traced back to a decision. What that decision was is up to you. But by game planning it out, structuring it out, creating a formula or process, at least you have some framework to follow. But if you're just gonna wing it through life, that's what losers do. Losers wing it through life. Losers think that they still have more time to get there. Losers measure themselves by the losers that they surround themselves with. And they go, well, I still have time. They're not doing anything extravagant in life, my friend. So I'm probably on track. No, you're not. You're all behind track. That's the problem. You're all behind schedule. You're all late to the party. And before you know it, you become undesirable. You become somebody that is now operating in the shadows of life. A decision that you made 2 years ago, you might be paying for that price today. Or a decision that you made 2 years ago might be paying you today, right? So once you own responsibility and go absolute ham on accountability, personal accountability, dude, your life will be so fucking different, it's crazy. You reach a certain age, into your mid-30s, maybe 40s, and you realize I've developed no marketable skills. I have no core structure or values or a predictable schedule that I live by that sets me up to win most of the time. And my entire life, I've been living paycheck to paycheck, settling for mediocrity, but scrolling on social media and living through other people's dreams.
Rather than making the goal the default, the thing that you focus on almost exclusively, let's make the system the default and then only check in on the goal occasionally to see if we're moving in the right direction. Achieving a goal only changes your life for the moment. It's actually not the thing that you're looking for. We think the results are the thing that needs to change, but it's actually the process behind the results. Like, if you have a messy room, let's say your bedroom is a mess, and you set a goal to clean that room, you can get motivated and do it for 2 or 3 hours, and then you turn around and you have a clean room for now. If you don't change the messy habits that led to a dirty room in the first place, then you turn around 2 weeks later and you have a messy room again. And so actually you don't need a clean room, you need better cleaning habits, and then your room will always be clean. You don't need to lose weight, you need better eating habits, and then your weight will always be around where you want it to be. You don't need more money, you just need better financial habits, and then you'll always have enough money to manage the thing that comes up. And I think that's one of the reasons why small habits matter so much. They don't necessarily transform your life overnight, right away. Like doing 1 push-up does not transform your body, but it does cast a vote for being the type of person who doesn't miss workouts. Or meditating for 1 minute might not give you an immediate sense of calm in your life, but it does cast a vote for being a meditator. The real goal is not to run a marathon, the goal is to become a runner. The goal is not to write a book, the goal is to become a writer. Because once you've adopted that identity, you're really not even pursuing behavior change anymore. You're just kind of acting in alignment with the type of person you already see yourself to be. It's kind of like true behavior change is really identity change. Because once you've changed that internal story, it's way easier to show up each day. You're not even really motivating yourself that much to do it. You're just like, this is who I am now.
Stand yourself in front of the mirror if you are that person. Imagine yourself 30 years older. Imagine yourself fat, out of shape, bags under your eyes, wrinkles on your skin, gray hair. Imagine that man exactly where you are today. And if you don't like it, do something to change it, because it's complacency that damages people. And that's a mix of brainwashing and programming and, your personality. It's a mix of lots of things. But I think growing up really impoverished and looking around at the other adults, who are still I was 16, 17 years old working at McDonald's. I was working with people who were in their 40s and 50s doing exactly the same job as me. And I thought, whoa, this is fucked. I'm going to have to do something. Why are you on this podcast asking me how to stop procrastinating? Turn off YouTube. Go do something. Jesus Christ. What's wrong with people? This is exactly what you were talking about asking a question where you already know the answer to. You know the answer is to stop doing things that waste your time and apply yourself to something important. Now, this may not be a waste of your time, but let me tell you, you're a dumbass, clearly. It's like Googling how to get fit, like you just said. Everyone knows what a push-up is. Do 10,000 of them a day. Stop wasting your fucking time. I've never had to deal with procrastination. I've never had to deal with not being motivated, because what is the alternative? Literally, be a loser forever?
Watching other people have wins, successes, impact and influence others. And motherfucker, I want that for you. I want that for you, because winning is formulaic. Most people don't set their standards. They just kind of fall to the standards of the people around them. So if the people around you are okay with being in debt, people around you are okay with being 10, 15, 20, 30 pounds overweight, people around you are okay with having shitty relationships, people around you are okay with having this like negative and depressed and anxiety riddled mindset, you end up accepting those standards. And so I want you guys to understand something. Winning is for the obsessed. You must be obsessed if you want to win. You must be obsessed with the goal, the journey, the outcome, the experience, the rejections, the resilience, the grit, the all of it. And throughout that journey, as you hit these micro wins, fucking celebrate them and then lock back in. If you start setting standards for yourself, that I will always be lean and jacked, that I will always focus on having a surplus of money so that I could serve the people around me that I love and care for, that I will always be in a positive mental state because I don't want to be negative Nancy. I want to be a positive influence on people. Set the standards. And if I come across people who don't meet those standards, I will keep myself away from them. I will eliminate them out of my circle of influence, and I will edit their relationships so that I am not impacted by their negative juju, right? If you have standards set, then you will not deviate. If you don't have standards set, then you will deviate at the earliest or the lowest common denominator, which is obviously average. And we all know that average is the enemy. Most people will not understand your obsession, your drive, and your determination. Success is a lonely journey. That's just a reality. And most people are not going to understand why you're so driven, why you're so obsessed. And if you try and make them understand, you're going to end up frustrated. Let go and move on.
The technical definition of a habit is a behavior that has been repeated enough times to be more or less automatic. So things that you can do pretty much without thinking about them. Unplugging your toaster after each use, or tying your shoes, or brushing your teeth. Things that you pretty much just go on autopilot when you do them. Now, we often use the word habit to mean different things than that, and we can get into this more. Like, you might say things like, I want to get in the habit of working out, or I want to get in the habit of writing every day. And I know what you mean when you say that, right? You mean I want to make it a regular practice. I want to make it this daily ritual that I follow. But you're never going to go like on autopilot and forget what you write for an hour, right? Like it's a more effortful, conscious thing. And so we can talk about some of that distinction, particularly with making habits easy. What you really want to do is make the beginning easy and automatic, and then the rest of the routine can follow naturally, even if you're consciously thinking about it. So that's what a habit is. It's this automatic response. Now, why does the brain build them? What role does it play? Well, as you go through life, you need energy to survive. And this is true not just for humans, but for all organisms need some kind of energy to survive. And getting energy requires energy. You need to eat food to be able to walk around and find the next meal. And using energy is expensive because the more energy you use, the less you have available for the other things that life throws at you. And so your brain is looking for ways to conserve energy whenever possible. And habits are a great method for doing that. And it makes that whole process of finding energy, solving the problems of life, and getting through things easier. It requires less energy and attention and effort than it did before. I started to realize, similar to what I hinted at a moment or two ago, that both luck and habits play a role in life, but that you have control over your habits. And the funny thing is, we're building them all the time, but a lot of people don't feel like they have control over their habits. They feel like their habits are taking control of them, that they're like a victim of these bad routines. And once you start to dive in a little bit and like uncover the layers and realize what a habit is and how it works, then you start to develop a little more control over it. And I think if we're going to be building habits anyway, then it makes more sense to be able to understand how they work and how to structure them so that you can be the architect of your habits rather than the victim of them.
What choice do you have, my friend? What do you mean? What happens if you don't deal with the grief? I don't understand. Are you going to kill yourself? Drink yourself into depression? Ruin your own life? You have no choice. You're on a train track, and you can either change the direction of the train that goes off a cliff, or you can keep it on the track. Time is going to still keep going on, and you are going to be sad. So are you going to be a sad winner, or are you going to be a sad loser? To me, it's very binary. Just because everyone's doing one thing doesn't mean doing the opposite is wrong. Sometimes that's the best thing to do. Life is like a game of chess. You can't take moves back. All you can do is look at the board you're in, look at the position you're in, and make the best moves possible.
Don't hold on to anger, resentment, and rejection from your youth. You know, maybe you come from a divorced family. Maybe you come from trauma. Maybe you come from weird setbacks. Maybe you're an immigrant like I was. Whatever it is that you were angry about, maybe you come from a blue-collar family. Maybe you were told that you'll never make it in life by the people that you looked up to. Who gives a shit? Let go of all of it and move on. The sooner you guys can learn to let go and move on in life, the happier you will be. The best advice I can tell you is, go on the journey by yourself. It is the best journey, man. Leveling up, making more money, losing weight, getting fit, becoming the best version of yourself is the fucking most awesomest journey you will ever go on. But it's a journey that you will probably go on by yourself. Most people will not understand the level of obsession required. They will not understand the level of drive and determination that it takes for you to become that person. And when you try and help them understand, you'll find yourself frustrated. When you carry anger, resentment, rejection with you, it is like if I asked you to go do a mud run or a Spartan race, but then said, hey, here's a giant burlap bag with bricks and cinder blocks in it that you have to carry over your shoulder while doing this Spartan race. There's no way you're going to be anywhere near the pack of winners at the end. No way. That is what carrying this anger and resentment and rejection is. So the sooner you can let go and move on in life, the better. Learn to let go and move on. The reason that you haven't fixed your life and that you keep breaking promises to yourself is because you are too comfortable. Number two, you hate yourself. Let's be honest. You obviously hate yourself. If you are making promises and then breaking them, not keeping your promises, breaking your reputation with yourself, breaking promises to others, and therefore your reputation with others is eroding, you not only hate yourself, but you hate the people that love you. Because if you truly loved yourself, you would keep your promises and you would honor them, right? I mean, don't you want to be the best person that you can be? Don't you want to become the best version of a man you can be, the man that you admire, that you love, that you trust, and then give yourself to that woman? Give yourself to that relationship, give yourself to that business, give yourself to that friendship. Of course you do. As much money as you want, you can have as much freedom as you want, you can have as much opportunity as you want, but you got to go out and get it. Because I can tell you right now, every single one of you out there have exactly what you deserve.
It's not that luck and randomness and uncertainty don't play a role in life. They do. You know, luck is a part of all of our lives to a certain degree, both good fortune and bad. But by definition, you don't have control over luck. And your habits also matter. And I think that the reason they're so worthwhile to focus on and understand is that they are the portion of your life that you can influence that also determines your outcomes. It's not just luck, it's not just habits, but one of those you have control over. And so it makes sense. The only reasonable strategy is to focus on what you can control. If you spend all of your time focusing on things you can't control, then you're just going to end up frustrated. Talent and genes, they play a role, and it's important. You know, people have natural predispositions to things that make them better. But what you find is that nearly always when someone is a great performer in a particular domain, they are both well-suited, so naturally talented or have some kind of predisposition to that area, and well-trained. And so even if you are talented, You can't succeed without having great habits to execute and to fully realize the potential that you have.